we've learned about several great techniques for protecting privacy. However, as mentioned previously, each set of techniques is only useful for the trust configuration that it supports. Some techniques would be overly burdensome amongst data and model owners who trust each other implicitly, while others would be too insecure for the trust model of potentially malicious actors. What we've learned so far is a cross-section of fundamental techniques which are applicable to a broad spectrum of privacy settings. Pate is useful when a party wants to annotate a local dataset using the private datasets of other actors. And the epsilon delta tool allows for very granular control of just how much the other actors must trust us to protect their privacy in this process. Vanilla federated learning is useful when we don't want to aggregate a training dataset for legal, social, or logistical reasons, which is distributed over a large number of actors, but there is still some trust required as the gradients can leak some information about the training data. Finally, secure additive aggregation helps add additional privacy protections in this setting. In the latter case, preventing anyone from seeing unaggregated gradient from one individual, which is a much stronger privacy protection. But this protocol is still not secure with the hard constraints provided from differential privacy, and it should only be used with parties who still have some degrees of trust. For reference, the most successful deployments of federated learning are between Apple Incorporated and the users of its phones, and between Google and the users of Android. Perhaps the final question you may be wondering is, what level of trust constitutes which protocol exactly? This is a tricky question, and there's not a clean-cut answer. At the end of the day, if you want to implement these protocols in production, you must do so at your own risk with your own data. What it will come down to is your ability to understand the various trade-offs of each protocol within your organization, your ability to communicate those trade-offs to key stakeholders in your organization, and then the discussion afterwards, which will ultimately decide whether a certain protocol is a good fit. Fortunately, however, we do get to stand on the shoulders of some very large and successful companies who have had very effective deployments of some of these protocols. I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors, and I applaud you for taking privacy so seriously. It's the early days for this technology, and by taking this course, you are set apart in the field of AI both for your expertise in this field, as well as for your morally admirable passion for privacy. Now go and do, and good luck.